Hi Virgo. So I have a reading for you guys today. So we have the Intuition card from the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. Intuition. And then we have on the bottom of the deck the Ace of Fire. Okay. And then we have the Knight of Wands with the Mary L Tarot. And on the bottom, we have the Page of Discs. This little baby. Okay. All right, and then the messages we have are TED Talk, Spy Kids, and I've been debating whether or not to share this with you guys. It's something personal in my life. I think I've decided not to share the actual name of the project, but it's about like a family bloodline. It was something that I created a long time ago. So this could be like something creative that you're doing with family. I'm going to kind of work around it and see what might want to come through. And then we have Polynesian and Longmire. So, first off, we have the Intuition card. So this can be about like intuitive action, pausing and waiting for messages to come in. Even figuring out which message or allowing your message to come through. Like even with like tarot readings, a lot of messages come through and it's more so about like understanding what's your message. That's intuition. What's your message and then what's someone else's. Okay. And that is clarifying this Ace of Fire. So passionate birth. There's an egg here. Also, I was looking at the cards before this. There's two spiders right here. And I was looking at them and they kind of look like the same exact spider. Maybe even just like male and female. But they both have this little infinity on their body. His infinity is going side to side and hers is going up and down. So we're going to see if it just feels significant since there's two spiders here. And this one is sitting on the moon. Emotional, full moon, full of emotion. Something big, something just like, even like a full belly, like a pregnancy. We do have this baby right here. Okay. And then with the Knight of Wands, so this is a passionate card. And it greatly, like the message that you get is greatly determined by what you're asking. You can get very, very opposite messages with this card. But I'm drawn to his lightning bolt here, which sounds like a shocking delivery of something kind of coming in quite passionately and announced, delivered, shared, spoken, done. So we're going to see what that might mean for you guys. But it's, if you can tell, he's coming up like out of the darkness. They got this like dark energy all around him. And he's kind of like, you know, humanoid, like a humanoid Black Panther. Yeah. Okay. And that is clarifying the Page of Discs. This baby, a child. This could even just like represent like a project you're working on, something that you're mothering, protecting, watching over. Yeah. Okay. Then we have TED Talk. So, TED Talk. This could either represent something that you might have just recently watched, or you might get a message as the reading goes along. But I've only recently watched 2 different TED Talks, so I'm just like trying to determine uh, we have a baby here, and one of the most recent TED Talks that I watched, it was a couple months ago, but it was about breastfeeding and the importance of breastfeeding. That was one of them. And the other one was about the death penalty and about a juror who, um, a juror who determined, who ruled guilty with a bunch of other jurors that someone should get the death penalty. And she said she never ever thought about it. She always just went along with it and agreed that the death penalty was important until after this case. And she said that night when she got home after sentencing this man basically to death, she felt like she was responsible for killing him, and that went against her entire belief system. And she said she just cried and cried and cried that entire night when she got home, because she felt like she literally did the act of, basically did the act of killing this man. And so she said that she would have probably gone her entire life never questioning that. Like, yeah, of course, like an eye for an eye. He did something bad, he should get the death penalty. But she said after being in the actual experience of this, completely changed her mind on the entire thing. And then she kind of like created this like kind of like a collective of people that started protesting the death penalty. And she also befriended this man who she had an act in like killing. She befriended him and would visit him, and until he served the death penalty. So interesting. Yeah, that was with a TED Talk. But with this like Ace of Fire, and the big message with that TED Talk is more about like almost even holding like a belief system or a thought about something and not having to ever have to change it unless you're actually in the experience and having to question and have a hand in something. Yeah, we're gonna see what that might be about. That's interesting. Okay. And yeah, that's sitting here with intuition. Intuitively failing something out. Maybe even the death penalty. Feeling that out, asking questions about what you feel about it. Or this could be just something else completely in your life. Yeah. Okay. And then we have Spy Kids here. And that's kind of sitting like slightly underneath this Ace of Fire, and then mostly underneath intuition. I keep just getting intuitive action, like over and over again. Intuitive action, Spy Kids, doing something intuitively. Spy Kids is a movie, a kids movie. My brother and I used to love the Spy Kids movies, 1 and 2, when we were growing up. If you think about, like, spies have to be very intuitive. You know, this was more of a playful movie. Like, it's not, like, literal, like, you know. But being intuitive about something, feeling something out, using your wits. In Spy Kids, they always had, like, a bunch of little gadgets and stuff that did all kinds of cool things. I think that's why, like, kids love those kind of movies, because it's just kind of like, it's fun and clever. A family of spies. It's mostly around these two kids, Junie and Carmen, but they're a family of spies. Yeah, we're going to see what that's about, because it's sitting here with intuition. Yeah, intuitive action about something. Okay. Then we have this, like, project, like a family project. This could even, it might not even have anything to do with a family. It could just be like a group project, a collective project, people you consider family. But this is very much connected to my bloodline, like far back. My great, 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 like that far back in my bloodline. Oh, it was about a murder. Okay. Yeah, my great 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 grandfather was murdered, and the person who murdered him was never held accountable because there was technically nothing that could be shown, proven that this person did it, but their testimony was unsatisfactory, but that was not enough to convict. So this person got away with killing my family member a long time ago. I'm just thinking about that because I was just went on that tangent with the death penalty. Ooh. Oh, like some kind of atrocity happening, and like having to think maybe deeper about it. Um, this could even feel like karma, or like lifetimes of something. Yeah, generational patterns. That's what I just heard. But okay, so yeah, this very much has to do with this was kind of why I created this. I'm not going to say the name of it, but kind of to like almost show respect around this family member and what happened to them. I wrote a poem about it, trying to give like peace to the situation. But I just went on at the very beginning, just went on that tangent about the death penalty, which is very interesting. That sounds like deeply like this might have nothing to do with like murder or anything like that. We're gonna come back around to that and see. I feel like just many different stuff could come through right now, so we're gonna hone in on what this could be. Okay. Then we have, okay, so that message is sitting right between intuition and Knight of Wands. Shocking. Something coming in shocking. That could even be like someone dying, or something happening, or even getting the evidence on something, a truth, something shocking coming in, a lightning bolt of information, of something being done, knowledge. And then intuition. What are you going to do? What do you feel about that? Kind of like the juror member, getting all the information on the jury, knowing that this person is guilty, and going through with the death penalty. So there was obvious guilt, but then she felt guilty when she got home because it went against her beliefs. But this was part of law. It was the court system. Okay. Yeah, let's keep going. Okay. So Polynesian. Yeah, Pacific Islanders. The Moana movie. I'm looking at Polynesian. It's actually sitting directly underneath the hand with the lightning bolt on it, and then slightly underneath the baby. Hold on, my nose is running. Sorry, guys. Okay. Polynesian. Just thinking about Moana. Maori, is that how you say that? Huh. I've never seen the full movie on that. It's a movie that I would like to see. That's like what that's making me think of right now. Moana. And then we have a baby right here. She got some kind of special gifts from the ocean when she was little. But sitting underneath the lightning bolt? Shocking. A strike. Okay. We're going to come back around to that. And then we have Longmire. So this is a show that my mom and dad like, and I pretty much just watched one episode, so I kind of know what it's about. It's, you know, it's in Wyoming, and it's kind of like a modern day Wild West. And there are Native American tribes, there are reservations. So there's very much like this kind of working together / tension between culture. Also working together. There's a ton of different dynamics. But like with this baby though, you know, right before this video, I did type in Longmire to just see if any kind of synchronicities would come up, and I didn't get anything. So then I typed in Longmire baby just to see if there was like any kind of baby scene. And I didn't see anything with just like a baby, but the very first video that came up had 88 on it. And so I clicked on it, and within the video, quite a few synchronicities were just like right there. Like that were important in my life. So I'm going to see how this might be able to translate to your life, but it was a simple 2-minute video. Yeah, a bunch of little different things, like nuances were going on. So we're going to see what's important here. I don't want to get late. I don't want to just like ramble about the whole thing. So we're going to come back around to that. Yeah, so a baby. And I was kind of like, this egg, you know, babies come out of eggs, like with a lot of animals. And the egg is fertilized within a human's womb or ovaries. We have these two spiders here, which reminds me of like a male and a female. Then we have the eggs. Then we have the babies. Then we have this one card, which can kind of feel like a black hole. Like an empty space waiting for something to come through. Like labor. Yeah, and then the Knight of Wands is a completely dark card. And pretty much like when you see this card, you basically go right to its eyes in the lightning bolt. Like even like a pregnancy announcement, since it's sitting here with the baby. Or realizing you're pregnant. Or just the birth of an idea, the birth of something. Yeah, but TED Talk here with the Ace of Fire, passionate, something born of your passion, which can literally, you know, be sex, you know. Yeah, the fertilizing of an egg. Just because we have these two spiders here, they just feel like prominent. And this one spider sitting on the full moon, which can represent like a woman's pregnant belly. Something full. Something fully seen in the night sky. Even at nighttime, like the full moon can light up a lot of things. It can also feel spooky, like and draw heavily on the emotions and the tides. Moana. She had water powers, pulling on the tides. It's interesting. Okay, but I'm TED Talk though with Ace of Fire. Unless this means something else for you guys, like a TED Talk that is important for you to go watch. If there's something, like if you're thinking about something right now, maybe just put that on your list of things to watch. If this is like triggering something or just making you think of something. TED Talk could also be something that you produce, because this could also mean like a creative project, a baby, something that you're mothering over, something that you're protecting, even like creating a TED Talk or a speech where you give information out. Because if you think of TED Talks, they're really just a way for people to deliver their messages, to deliver their truths, to deliver projects, to deliver discoveries. And that can literally, in a metaphorical way, feel like something fertilizing like your creative eggs within you. Yeah, these two spiders though, right here. This one spider, he's like covering that entire egg. And this other spider, I keep wanting to just say he and she. This feels more feminine and intuitive, and that feels more masculine. She's like covering this whole moon. So he's woven his web around this egg, and she's woven it underneath this woman, but you can tell it's wide. Oh, there's night stars underneath it. Okay. Kind of drawn to the black cat now. Yeah, there's a black cat sitting there with her. And this looks like, a black cat, a panther. Black panther. Stealth. Light-footed. Can go unseen. Hunt in the nighttime. Successfully. Even spooky. If you think about, like, even when I go for walks, there's this house. They have several black cats, outdoor cats, and I know that they're there. And the only way I see them is when I'm walking a certain way. All of a sudden, their eyes like briefly flash in the light, and then they're gone. They just like blend right back into the grass. Camouflage. Yeah, stealth. Something moving silently. That like literally sounds like someone who's pregnant who doesn't know that they're pregnant yet. Just like or this could even just be about an idea, like you have something important and valuable that you can share. If we're even talking about like TED Talks, like maybe that there's something important that would be valuable for other people to hear and to know about. You could fertilize other people's creative works, minds. Okay, so then we have spy kids here. Spy kids. A group of spies, a family of spies. Intuitive action. Something being watched. Something being done in the darkness. Something being hunted silently. Yeah, just something moving in silently. But clever. Gadgets. Tools. Quirky tools. Junie and Carmen, brother and sister. Or this could even just be like a project that you're working on with someone else. Or you guys have like tools. I'm thinking about the one scene from Spy Kids 2 where Junie and Carmen are sitting in the treehouse, and it kind of looks like she's sitting in a treehouse. She's sitting above like this space right here. Yeah, and so in that scene, so a bunch of stuff happened. I don't want to get too much into the details of what happened, but basically they take over a mission from two other spies. but they were supposed to be the ones ultimately that had the mission. If I remember, there was a bunch of corrupt stuff going on because the two spies that took over the mission, their father was the one leading the investigation, but he was the bad guy. He was corrupt and he didn't want anyone to know what was going on. So that's why he had they did a whole setup and everything so that, to set Junie and Carmen up so that his kids could take over the mission so that he could keep it silent and protected so that Junie and Carmen wouldn't be snooping um, in his business. But they were ultimately the ones that were supposed to have that mission, and they were planning on how they were going to take over the mission, take it back. Interesting. Yeah, like with this energy sitting in the treehouse, or sitting here. Taking over a mission, taking something back, taking this kind of feels more like intuitive, like a pause, even like labor, like letting answers come to you, letting something be seen, because we have kind of like this feeling of like something is not quite seen, and then there's going to be like, or there is this like shocking realization or event, something spoken. Then we have this creative project with family sitting right next to it, a bloodline. Maybe even like an atrocity that happened within the bloodline. Could say getting justice for that ancestor, for whatever this is, getting justice. We literally just had the talk about rethinking something over, like not an eye for an eye. Maybe even examining something differently. And maybe giving honor to the ancestor, doing something important, creating something from that pain, bringing value back in to where there was like loss. Like with this ancestor, I literally kind of created a project, to honor them, but I've also written a poem to at least just bring peace to what I needed peace brought to. So even like simple things like that. You have it next to Spy Kids, which could be like a family project, family working on some kind of project, a project to bring back peace, bring back hope, bring back value, bring justice about in a new way or a different way. Reclaim. And then we have Polynesian. Sitting underneath this lightning bolt as like an answer or discovery, a realization, something helpful. This could even be about like bridging culture, bringing justice in a new way to another culture, recognizing another culture, allowing another culture to bring its truth forward, to be heard. Something hidden though, because I'm just like very much like, that kind of feels like it's kind of deep in the shadow, something very well hidden. And maybe not purposefully, maybe it just had no choice in the matter, and it finally got the opportunity to share, and when it finally got the opportunity to share, it was shocking. Yeah, use your intuition. I feel like this is going to be different for everyone, like in a big way. What is your message? But Polynesian, Maori. I might be saying that wrong, but yeah, it just reminds me of Moana. She had magical gifts with the water, gifted to her by Mother Earth. And I think most people have seen this at the very end where there's like this kind of like monster. Oh, this kind of reminds me of that. This kind of like monster that's mad. Like a kind of has this like volcanic like how it looks. And it's starting to run at her. She splits the waves and it's starting to run at her, and she's just singing to it. It's huge, like the size of a volcano compared to a human. And she says, "They've stolen the heart from inside you. I know your name." Don't let this define you. I know who you truly are. I know who you are. And then she puts this little like green gem into the face of that little, of the volcano thing. Because the volcano thing is like running at her. And then like almost stops abruptly when she says, "I know who you are." And then when she puts the thing into the volcano monster, it transforms into this beautiful, like, green Mother Earth goddess. And then you realize it was Mother Earth angry. This could even be like an eruption of pain. Something feeling volcanic. Eruptions, yeah. I know who you are. I know who you truly are. And it transforms the energy back into its true nature. It takes it out of its pain body back into its loving body. We were talking about an eye for an eye, and even like something painful happening within like a family. Like this could be different things, or even a culture, a collective, a belief system. Could be very many different things. Recognizing something, even seeing something, or choosing to see something differently can bring like justice to someone or culture. Yeah, whatever that means to you. Taking something back out of its pain body into its true nature, who you truly are, what you truly are, what that truly is. That's what I'm thinking about with this Polynesian. Okay, then we have Longmire sitting underneath the Page of Discs. This kind of looks indigenous as well, you know, Native American, which is different, but which makes me think again of like bridging culture. These are different cultures. A baby, something new being born. A bridge. Huh. Something new being born from two different things, because Polynesian is sitting underneath this lightning bolt in the hand and also partly sitting underneath the baby, which feels like a mix of these two different cultures, or just simply that message, a mix of something, two things, bringing something together, bringing bloodlines together. Have this like bloodline stuff, making peace with a bloodline. I was just thinking about what's that Hatfields and McCoys, like creating something new, bringing peace, bridging, making something new. A baby can quite literally do that, can bridge bloodlines, can bring peace to like even like warring tribes. There's like a reason to stop having war with each other. There's a reason for peace. There's something new to be protected. Longmire. Oh yeah. I was talking about in Longmire, there was like this kind of tension between, I guess you could say like the new Americans and the indigenous people. Bringing peace, bridging something, letting someone be heard or something be heard, a tribe be heard. Bridging culture, letting something, bringing something out of the darkness. Creating something new. Okay, so in the Longmire clip, it was just a 2-minute clip, an officer had gone missing, and I believe also his bride went missing, and they were trying to discover where she was by a photo. They were talking about matchmaking, and he did it the old-fashioned way. But he's missing. And I'm assuming so is she, which is why they were trying to figure out where she was in the photo. And the reason why they were able to figure out around the parts of where she was because they saw a meadowlark in the tree in the photo and knew that that was only from a certain region, and that it only traveled, I think, south during certain parts of the year because of something growing. Yeah, that's all I can think of. Page of Discs. Okay. Something new. So the TED Talk. Not quite sure how to bring this through. Yeah. So I'm just thinking about like pregnancy again, because we have this like shocking thing right here. And I'm also thinking about Knight of Wands can be an energy, like if you're wanting like commitment from someone, like let's say you're in a even like a just a sexual relationship with someone and you're wanting commitment, you don't want to see the Knight of Fire if there hasn't been established commitment. He's going to more so come in and go right back out. He's going to do his thing and then go right back out. But I'm thinking about LGBT couples. And so I'm also thinking of like surrogacy. So I think this is something that like, okay, just because it's kind of coming through right here, I'm just gonna say this. So my brother and I are both gay. We're both within the LGBT community, and both are attracted to the same sex. But if you you can't create a baby. And years ago, my brother actually asked me if I would be a surrogate for his partner so that they could have a child with both of their bloodlines in it. And this was years ago. And I thought about it, but I didn't really give like a whole lot of extra thought to it. I was just kind of wrapped up in my own stuff. But now that I'm older, I greatly like understand couples wanting to have children, like bridging their love, creating something new from their love. And like when you think about that, straight couples don't really have to like double think that like it's two, 1 and 1 is going to equal 1. But that's not the case for LGBT couples. And that can be very, very painful. Like, wanting the 1 and 1 to create the 1, and wanting a bridge of your bloodlines. And I actually just recently was thinking about this, like with my own brother and his husband. Just because like I'm one of the only people that could give them that gift of like their own, like, their two bloodlines bridged. But yeah. I've definitely, I've been thinking about it lately because I was also thinking about like just love, and I know that that's what I would want for my partner, like me and my partner, to like bridge bloodlines, and that's just like not something that every LGBT couple has access to or has the ability to do. And it just feels like almost like a great sacrifice sometimes, even just being LGBT, especially when you want to create a family. because there's just like that, at least from my experience, like there's that need to create something from like a union of love, something that is yours, something born. We have the Ace of Fire, something born of your passion, of your love. Literally, your one in one creating a one. And it just reminds me, this Knight of Wands almost feels like a donor now. And that can be something very powerful for LGBT couples to create their own child, or even like someone acting as a surrogate. And that's also something I've thought about, like even with just straight people, like when they have children, they don't have to like, it's their child. They don't have to ask other people for like permissions about what to do with their own child. It's their child. They have full, I was gonna say property, but they have full guardianship over that child. And with LGBT couples, that's not always the case, but that's what I was thinking. Another thing I was thinking about was that, like, even being a surrogate for someone, giving up the full rights to that child, and like, you know, giving the couple the full guardianship over a child. Just because I was thinking about it in my life, I'm just gonna give like an example. I'm just gonna give an example. Like, if I were to be a surrogate for like my brother's husband, you know, and have that bloodline bridged, that's something that's extremely like, that's a big deal. And to give up those rights over to these, you know, over to my brother and his husband, that's what I would want. Like, that's their child. They literally just needed a surrogate, and what a gift that is to like be able to like join the bloodline. Because I was thinking about that in my own life. Just like that would be exactly what I would want with my partner. Is like someone understanding that they're just the donor and they're giving a gift. And that child is fully ours, as if we were a straight couple, like fully ours, our no rights, you know, just from the other person, like giving over the full rights that this child, like, you know, like this is my wife's child and my child, you know, and just like having that kind of intention there. I just feel like it's such an important thing sometimes, or just to think about, like, just even like thinking about straight couples, like they don't have to like share rights with other people when they create a child. And that's exactly what I would want. I would want that child to be ours. But I'm thinking also about like with gay men, um, and when a woman is a surrogate and she takes care of that child, or she, you know, brings it to full term and has the pregnancy, there's also the thing with breastfeeding. I brought that up. That was actually a recent TED Talk that I was listening to just a couple months ago. The importance of breastfeeding. And yeah, in royal families, actually the mother didn't breastfeed the child. And so this is something I was already thinking about. Yeah, in royal families, the mother didn't breastfeed the child. They had a woman who had just given birth to her own child come in and be in the nursery with that child. And literally the woman would be nursing her own child side by side with the royal family's child. And it just like makes me think of like gay couples, you know, like especially with gay men, even finding someone even someone that's not the surrogate. So when you have that child in your full custody, like even maybe just doing some research on the importance of breast milk, and seeing if there's any kind of like just looking into that and seeing, maybe asking more questions and seeing if there's like any way that you can have that kind of ability for your child. Sorry, that came like through really strongly. I was thinking about that recently, but we have this like intense kind of baby thing happening here. And then this like quick announcement of something, like something shocking. But this literally could be like a donor, like someone coming in and literally like, let's say like a lesbian couple, someone donating the the sperm, you know, to fertilize the eggs. And with a or adoption, like this could mean just adoptions, just something shocking, something kind of like up out of the darkness, something coming into the light in a profound way, passionately. And we literally have the baby sitting right next to it. Hmm. Yeah. Intuition is right here, though. I feel like that's just something that just see where you fit within this. Because I'm just thinking about like even like young women who are like even newly dating, who are kind of figuring out what they want for their life. If you're looking for commitment with someone like this, who you don't have an established connection with, this can very much be the result. Shocking, shocking. Very much be the result. But this can actually be like quite a beautiful card for other couples who are looking for answers in childbirth, and or even just within like they've already have children, and just like these fun like moments during the day of just like love, playing with each other, even like doing even simple things like dance offs, like putting on like some rap music and just like doing like a fun dance off. Like that just is fun. It just brings like some of that fire and that passion back. That's Knight of Wands energy. Okay, I think I might be done here. TED Talk information being exchanged from one point to another, whether that's you to other people, that's information you're taking in. Something can be created, passionately created, fertilized. And then Spy Kids. Just think about missions, like spy missions. Families coming together, working together. Then we have this like bloodline project. So that could very much be like a family coming together to work on a project for a bloodline, to heal a bloodline. Then Polynesian. Healing. Bridging. just drawn to that little triangle on the child, and that just reminded me of Polynesian, the Polynesian triangle. It could just be important for someone. Then the Longmire. This could even just be about like investigating something. We have the spy thing right here. So investigations, discovery, working together with people even that you have like tension with. Yeah, and creating something new. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it here. I feel like I'm kind of just pulling out the same messages. So, all right, Virgo. I hope you got some questions to ask in your life, especially with this Knight of Wands. Like, really figure out what this Knight of Wands means for you. And hope you got some answers, and I wish you well.